Hello and welcome back to Helluva Podcast. I'm Alex.
I'm Audie, and oh lords, I'm poor now!
And today we are talking about, as you probably guessed from the intro, Sinsmas.
Woohoo!
We always say it at the same time, but we're not together, so I didn't put umph on it, because you always put umph on it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I should even try to talk in sync with you, considering how much time we spent trying to sync our recordings, yeah.
Yeah, because currently I'm recording from Vermont, Audie's recording from New Jersey. We're not doing the Discord call for you guys' sake this time.
Yeah, we're trying something new. Hopefully it's at least better than the Discord call.
Right.
If not perfect.
But that will mean we probably won't overlap a lot or say things in sync like we usually do, because that's just too complicated.
It's too hard. But yeah, we're talking about Sinsmas, which is also the most recent episode of the show. We are once again caught up, and the most recent short is still Chupacabras, but we are definitely confirmed getting more shorts between seasons 2 and 3, so that will change at some point soonish.
Which is exciting, but also it's rumored that it will be another 9 months before we get season 3.
Yeah.
So that could be one short in 9 months.
Hey, they said shorts plural are confirmed, I believe.
Okay, so that could be 2 shorts in 9 months.
Yeah.
But it's something, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we wanted to have this out so badly before the end of 2024, just because that would be a nice wrap up. But then I got in a car crash, so I'm fine.
Yeah. No, Alex is fully dead. This is an AI of his voice.
That would be crazy.
That's actually why the episode quality is so weird.
Yeah, I don't exist. I'm just really dedicated to the show.
Yeah. He put it in his will, like,
yeah,
if I die, go on without me, but yeah. Anyway, bit over. I
was making a bit about hell. I don't know what you were doing.
I don't know what I was doing either. Okay. So yeah, this is our season finale also. So wait until the end of this episode. We'll talk a bit more about our plans for this podcast going forward, because as you might expect, it's going to get a little wacky in the 9-month hiatus of Helluva.
Yeah, we are probably going to do some bonus content, but we're not exactly sure how we're going to distribute that. Since all of this got pushed back, Audie and I were supposed to have a little business meeting, so formal, at the beginning of the year, but obviously we're here at the beginning of the year, so we still have to have that and figure out what we're going to be doing. But then as soon as we've got it figured out, we're going to tell you guys. But, like, check out the Instagram and things to stay caught up about that.
Yeah.
All right, ready to get into the actual episode?
Yeah. Our first note is one of so much importance, is that all of the horse plushies, or a lot of them at least, have eyes, like, all over their bodies that look like they were sewn on, or just, I don't know. Is it true of all real horses in hell that they have eyes, like, on their butts and shit?
Yeah, and we went back to see if they blink at all, to see if the eyes maybe got absorbed, like, into the plushies themselves, and they don't, right? And they look sewed on.
Yeah.
So that means that they're not, like, souls absorbed into the object of the stuffed animal. That means they're crafted after a real-life horse. So that begs a lot of questions. If horses can absorb souls, then what other living things can absorb souls? Because the whole thing is that eyes show up when an object has absorbed a soul.
Yeah, it was confirmed, like, I believe the official confirmation was that dead souls are absorbed into inanimate objects. So if this potentially puts a conflict on that, where animate things can as well. But it could also just be that horses are weird and have a lot of eyes. We don't really know.
Yeah, and the horses we've seen mostly have 3-4 eyes, like, not 2, but not a million either. These horses have a lot, so it makes me think, like, maybe there's a certain kind of horse. Maybe, because I think the only wrath horses we've really seen are striker-adjacent horses. Mm-hmm. So maybe more wrath horses look like that. I don't know. Yeah,
potentially. Yeah. There's also what we're pretty sure is a new picture of Moxie taped to Blitz's, like, little photo wall. He's such a girly girl. He's got Sorry, that was
he's just like my dorm room for real.
That was lightly misogynistic / homophobic, but he's such a girly girl for that.
No, you're right.
But no, it's a picture of Moxie that I don't think we've seen on his photo wall before, that's taped up, and it looks like Moxie is holding something, like a piece of paper, it looks like, and he's smiling. We joked that maybe it's, like, his last paycheck or something.
Yeah.
Like, he finally got
really
paid after Blitz's crash out.
Right. Blitz's crash out versus Stolas' crash out was crazy.
Yeah, no, for real. I was expecting... Go ahead.
Blitz's was a month long and then ruined, like, 5 people's lives. Mm-hmm. Stolas flipped a pillow.
Failed to flip a desk.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was half expecting Blitz to put on, like, Bethany Ghostfucker for Stolas. So when this episode opened with the horses, I was like, aw.
Yeah, no, especially because, well, that's really interesting because Stolas was for a while, like, not an object of sex to him, but he thought that Stolas saw him as an object of sex. Mm-hmm. And that he was just a very, very sexual person. So the fact that he went for a more pure thing than the sexual thing that he was latching onto, one, says a lot about how he was feeling about Stolas and the way to comfort him, and two, also says a lot about how the gap he's trying to fill, since he went to a sexual thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and just this is sort of going into our next note, but, like, horses are something that obviously we've seen make Blitz feel very happy and comfortable and safe, and the fact that he surrounds Stolas with them is just so sweet.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is a thing that makes me feel really comfortable, and so it will therefore make you feel really comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, so genuine.
Yeah. Bro, we've said the word earnest a lot lately, but Bro is in his earnest era.
No, he is. And also, that's so, like, such a genuine and sweet thing. Mm-hmm. Like, we haven't seen that kind of care from Blitz, really, except for towards Luna.
Yeah. He's just so, like, immediately shifts into that caretaker role that we've also seen with, well, not to the same extent, but, like, we can assume with Fizz when they were younger, and then probably with Barbie to some extent, but...
Yeah, and the caretaker role here is interesting, though, because a lot of times when we have seen him... Because we have seen him go into a caretaking role in this show. Not, like, super strong, but we've seen, like, a glimpse with Barbie, and glimpses with Fizz, and also even glimpses when they're, like, on a mission with, like, Eminem.
Yeah.
And Luna, obviously, but it's a little different with Luna.
Yeah.
And in all of those, it's like comforting, but it's also like there's a stern aspect to it. There's like an actual protective, like getting people away from them aspect of it. Mm-hmm. And in this one, it's like soft. Yeah. And kind of very, what would I want in this situation? Which sometimes it is the other things too, just in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like with the others, like Eminem and even Luna, it's more of like there's an external threat of some kind, and that's when we've seen him shift into that role. Same with Fizz, with creepy stalker guy. But then here with Stolas, it's very much an internal, emotional battle that's taking place that he's, I think that's where Blitz is more like, oh, I know this shit. I'm very familiar with internal emotional turmoil.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you think that this guy wouldn't know anything about coping skills or anything like that because he doesn't fucking do them. Yeah. Because that's like the whole thing is like, oh, this guy's struggling, but that's because he's like never tried to get better. But obviously, like, I feel like maybe he has. Yeah. Because he knows how. And then also it's interesting because now that we've seen, and this is going a little forward in our notes, but now that we've seen how he emotionally takes care of Stolas, we know that he probably, or like can infer that he probably has done this with other people. Like I can definitely see him using a lot of the same tactics with Barbie and Fizz when they were younger.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's interesting because I feel like a lot of times when I watch this show recently, there's some things that I see and I'm like, that's out of character and I hate it. But then there's some things that I feel that way in the beginning and then I'm like, wait a minute, no, this makes a lot of sense actually.
Yeah.
It's just that we haven't seen it yet. And I think it can do a really good job at that. Just sometimes it does it too far.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. Going back to horses, which is such an in-character statement for this show. But Stolas, like, acknowledges all of the horses, and Blitz's face just lights up. He's, like, so happy that Stolas is addressing all of his horses. He's like, yeah, I do have a lot of horses, man.
He says, do you like them? Aren't they so pretty?
No, for real. He's probably like, yes, my plan worked.
He says, my boyfriend, he's okay with me loving horses.
Yeah. But also, where has Blitz been keeping all of these little guys? Like,
Yeah.
we've seen a lot of horses in his apartment, obviously, but most of these are ones we haven't seen before. So, does he just have them all in, like, a drawer or a chest somewhere? Like...
Yeah, so my theory is that he did have a whole horse apartment, but then he adopted Luna, and Luna said, like, one thing about it being lame, and he just hid them all away. Because he really wanted her to think that he was cool.
Yeah.
My personal theory, but also, so the shelf that we see the stuffed animals on in the living room area, that's very much, we haven't seen that corner.
Yeah.
So, those could have been there the whole time.
It's true. Yeah.
But that said, the stuff near the TV, especially the little Lululand sign that says you have to be this tall to horse,
Yes.
that would definitely have been in all of the scenes where we've seen the TV, like at the end of Queen Bee. So he definitely put that out recently.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Which is really funny because that means he surrounded him and then was like, okay, I'm going to put them everywhere. like it wasn't just a physical comfort thing. He was like, I want him to look around and just see horses.
And he puts the show on the TV, like, truly just horse overstimulation.
Do you think, because also this is a different horse show than the one he was watching when he was, like, sad during Queen Bee.
Yeah.
Because that was, like, a horny horse show.
Yeah.
This one's, like, definitely just My Little Pony.
Yeah.
Do you think this is, like, his comfort show? Like, did he watch this when he was sick? Like, when he was a kid?
Aww.
Does he still watch it when he's sick?
I hope so.
I hope so, too. That's what it gives me, like, that comfort show from when you were a kid and you had to stay home from school. I don't think he went to school, but you get the gist.
Yeah. No, like how when I'm deeply ill, I turn to Voltron Season 2, Episode 7, Space Mall.
No, this is entirely different. You are crazy.
You hate me. You hate me so bad. By the way, speaking of being sick, that reminds me, I do have COVID right now. If I sound ill at any point, I'm so sorry to the listeners. Not to you,
I feel like,
because you just made fun of me.
Well, you don't need to be sorry to me anyway. But, yeah, I feel like every time we've recorded recently, one of us or both of us have been sick.
Yeah, 'tis the season.
Yeah. I also have a little cold, but I don't know if I sound that sick anymore. You definitely still sound a little sick.
Lovely. Yeah. Anyway, horse butts on the wall.
Yeah, there's, like, the way that people put, like, hunting heads on the wall, there's horse butts, which I think is really funny.
Yeah. And then there's also a framed picture, or a framed drawing of two horses kissing. One of them is pink with white spots on it, it looks like.
One
like
white
patch.
heart.
One white heart. Yeah.
That's definitely Veronica.
It looks like Veronica, yeah, like, that's the only thing we could assume. But then the other one is, like, a yellow horse with... Does he have a hat on? And...
Oh, they both have hats on.
They both have hats on?
Yeah.
I don't know, it could just be two horse OCs, and that's the most likely thing, probably. But, I don't know. It's silly.
Yeah,
it's goofy.
but the only other time that we've seen this, like, brownish yellow, I guess the color is tan, horse, is when he draws Stryker as a horse.
Yeah.
So, I do think it is probably two OCs, or maybe just a horse OC and Veronica. Just because it's a pink horse with white and black detail and a white heart. Like, that...
Yeah. No.
That's Veronica.
Yeah.
But it could just be, or just like a random horse. But it would be really funny if he's like making fan fiction about Veronica and fucking Stryker kissing.
Yeah. No, he has like horse versions of everyone he knows in real life, and then they have complicated, like, shipping dynamics and stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If this is some crazy subtle foreshadowing that Stryker and Verosika are an item by the end of the show, I will be quitting.
Yeah, Spindlehorse, we're not addressing Vibsy Pop anymore, Spindlehorse the team.
Yeah.
If that happens, we're done.
We're done, we quit. Someone else can take on the Helluva podcast mantle.
Yeah. No, they don't deserve a podcast after that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there are also a lot of horses with some element of, like, fire to their design, like fiery manes and stuff, which is also true of a lot of the horses we've seen I was gonna say in real life, but you know what I mean. Like, non-plushy horses. Like, real horses in Hell. Like,
right.
Stryker's horse, obviously, and then a lot of the circus horses, or I think all of them even.
Yeah, a lot, if not all of them. And then I think that's why Blitz had such an attachment to Stryker's horse.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so that's fun.
That's actually really interesting, given that the horses are, like, one of the first things of Blitz's memory of the fire in,
Ghost
Fuckers.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think the fire on the horses is, like, functional? And if so, do you think that they spread the fire around more at the circus?
I'm wondering because they reacted to the fire and, like, caught fire. That's in his memory, but I'm wondering if that's actually true or if they were already on fire. But they did react to the fire and they ran away. So either way, it's like, did the horses catch fire and then run and spread it that way, like in their not magical fire horses? Because that's entirely possible. Or are they magical fire horses also into this equation?
We say such normal things on this podcast. Just the full, like, sincerely, like, so are they not magical fire horses?
And I am 100% sure that everybody who walks by my door, which I am right next to the bathroom, can hear everything I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So, I just want you all to know that.
Yeah. Speaking of the circus fire, Stolas asks if there's a story behind all of Blitz's horses, and Blitz says there is, but it's much too long and traumatic, which is, what the fuck is he talking about, first of all? Is it
the circus fire? Probably.
Like, presumably, but, like, what does that really... That's not where his love of horses came from, so that doesn't make sense.
Not the circus fire, but the circus. It came from childhood, and that was his childhood.
I guess. It's just... But then there's also, like, this smoke, like, as he says this, the food that he's cooking, there's, like, smoke that swirls upward from it and frames his face as he's talking, like, implying a reference to the circus fire. I'm just curious. I feel like there's more to the Blitz package that we haven't unwrapped yet, you know?
Yeah,
I want to know where the horse thing comes from exactly.
Yeah, I think the circus fire is definitely meant to be what we're meant to think he's referring to with the imagery and everything. But also that would be to do something like that and make us think that would also be a great way to be like, actually, it is unrelated, and, like, the season 3 finale is going to be him, like, talking about the traumatic, like, he got trampled by a horse or something.
And that's where he developed his lifelong love for them, because he realized that he is nothing compared to a horse.
Yeah, no, exactly. He developed a god complex and a love for horses in the same day. Because he kind of does have a god complex, is the thing. Yeah.
I just added a marker in my voice recording so that I can come back to that quote. He developed a
We're gonna
god
put it
complex.
on Reels or something.
Yeah. Anyway.
I wish I developed a god complex and a love for horses in the same day. I would be a different person.
No, for real. Being a horse girl would have saved me, I think. Or
I
made
think so
me
too.
Incredibly worse. I don't know.
Yeah, I was that kind of loser kid that if I was a horse girl, it would have helped me fit in, I think.
Yeah.
I've never touched a horse before, ever.
You've never touched a horse?
No. Where would I touch a horse?
I've ridden horses multiple times.
Where have you ridden horses?
At, like, fairs and stuff.
Oh, the fairs I went to, you couldn't ride them. Actually, I might have touched a horse.
Yeah.
Because you could touch them.
Yeah. I've never.
I think I've
liked
touched
riding
like a pony.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I
Oh,
can't
I mean,
imagine
if we're
it would be
being if we're being specific, I don't know if I've ridden a horse or a pony. Let's be clear.
I don't know if I would like riding a horse. I feel like it would kill me. I feel like also I don't want, like, I would feel bad. Like, I don't want to jump on your back without your permission. Like,
yeah, I did not like it any of the times I did it as a kid. It's so like I don't know, it feels unsteady, even though it's not, but it feels like you're gonna fall off at any second.
Yeah.
But I feel like if it was like if I got into like professional horseback riding, it would be fun. I just don't. Who has the motivation to do that, you know?
In this economy?
Exactly. Blitz does, but that was with Veruska's credit card.
This is true. It is like his lifelong dream, though.
Yeah.
I did just unlock a childhood memory that I have ridden an elephant before.
You've ridden an elephant.
Yes, but I've never touched a horse.
But riding a horse is so out of the question. We're moving on.
I was like 6, to be fair.
Where did you ride an elephant? I didn't even know they could have them in the United States.
At a zoo.
You rid an elephant at a zoo.
Yeah, at this really... It's a tourist attraction zoo called York's Wild Animal Kingdom that is shutting down for so many reasons currently. Like, it lost its license. And they are probably the single-handed worst zoo ever, and they are the only zoo I would have been to up until, like, age 14. And I think I've only been to one other zoo since.
Okay.
But yeah, they had an elephant that you could ride.
I mean, New Jersey has a famous attraction called Lucy the Elephant, which is not a real elephant, but it is a building designed to look like an elephant, and you can go inside it and learn about the history of elephants. And I've been to that.
That's really cool. This elephant was real. I wrote it.
That's fucking crazy. What the fuck do you mean?
Dude, it's so inhumane. I don't think they have it anymore.
Yeah.
Or, like, I don't think they have an elephant at all anymore. Also, this zoo was half zoo, half amusement park. Just to add, I just need to give you the image. Isn't that insane?
I feel, which side was the elephant on, honestly?
The zoo.
Okay, I feel like it could be either.
They also had a part... Sorry, this is my last thing. They also had a part where you could pay to ride a paddle boat and feed the ducks from the paddle boat.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, but also, that is insane. Why would you do that?
What do you mean? You ride a paddle boat and you feed ducks in the water?
Yeah, but have you ever been to a zoo where you ride a paddle boat?
That's less weird than riding an elephant. We're moving on.
It is less weird than that. We're moving on. Anyway, I just do a bonus episode of weird-ass shit I did in my childhood.
Yeah, we'll say this at the end of this episode, but we want to do a Q&A at some point. Please ask more questions about Alex's elephant experience, and tell us what animals you've ridden.
I want to hear crazier animals than an elephant. I want the comments to be like, I rode a fucking, like, white spangled tiger or some shit. Like,
yeah. I rode the world's biggest tortoise.
I was trying really hard to think of what animal that was weirder than an elephant. I want you to know, and it took me a minute.
Yeah, all I could think of was a bat because of the Underland Chronicles, and then I had to remember that bats are not that big.
No, they're not. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, okay, so when Blitz is cooking in the kitchen, we see, like, an angle of his apartment that we haven't seen before. Behind him, there are a bunch of horseshoes on the wall that you pointed out, like, are those purely decorative, or did he bring those from, like, the circus? Like, were they functional horseshoes at one point in his life?
Yeah, from the circus, or even... Like, from the circus would be interesting because those are something that wouldn't burn in a fire.
Yeah.
So if he went back to the site and, like, got him out... Like, if he had him in storage or, like, the horse barn was still... Like, that they were still there. Another thing, too, though, is that if he just handled horses outside of the circus, like, afterwards, especially working at, like, Lululand... And they are just, because horseshoes stopped being functional after a certain period, and he just kept those.
Yeah. What do horseshoes do?
I knew this at one point. It's something about, like, what's that?
They stopped being functional? That just made me realize, I'm gonna Google it. I have no fucking idea what horseshoes do.
It's something about the traction when they walk, I think.
They literally wear them as shoes?
They're nailed to their hooves.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. You didn't know this?
I don't know what horseshoe... I know that you can play horseshoes, like the game.
You didn't know... Wait, why the fuck would they be called horseshoes if they didn't have anything to do with horses?
Because things have names all the time that aren't what they are. I don't know.
Guy who's never touched a horse, guy who knows that thing about horseshoes.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. Horseshoes protect a horse's hooves and improve their performance. Hang on, this is the AI overview. I'm not reading this. They designed to protect a horse hoof from wear, attached on the palmar surface of the hooves. Okay.
It says it also strengthens their hooves.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So when did they become non-functional?
Like, yeah, I think they can, if they snap, or after a certain amount of time.
Huh.
I don't know where I got all of this knowledge, but I know it's factual.
Bro was about to unlock another memory about putting horseshoes on a horse.
I've never done that.
10 minutes ago, you didn't think you'd ridden an elephant, did you?
No, I didn't. Actually, I unlocked that memory more recently because it got brought up, but like that zoo got brought up. Yeah. But anyway,
yeah, no, but Blitz taking them from the circus would also make sense, because we do see in his office he has the burnt playing cards that are presumably from the circus, so it's not like he doesn't canonically have mementos. But yeah.
The burnt playing cards are so interesting to me because there's no way in hell playing cards are paper, so there's no way in hell that those survived the fire. So that makes me think: did he have those on his person? Like, was he learning magic and shit, and he just had them on his person?
Maybe. I mean, I feel like if you're a performer in a circus, it's not entirely unlikely that you'll just have playing cards on you at any moment in time. Especially if it was Fizz's birthday. Maybe he was gonna do a little trick for him.
Yeah, no, literally, and this is probably just me, but I need a rundown in every single act that Blitz was trained in the circus. No. Because when he was a kid, he was a trapezist, and then, like, I don't even know, like they were kind of jester-esque. Yeah. Like, I don't know what that act, like, that's not really a circus act, the, like, telling jokes kind of thing. They did the balloon animals. But, yeah, I guess they were kind of, like, the crowd warm-up, actually, is more so what they were.
Yeah, except they were, like, very late in the show.
Yeah. Were they, though?
Well, yeah, because, like, Stolas, remember, is, like, super bored sitting through this super long
Oh, right.
show.
Yeah, they were. But they're the introduction of the clown segment.
Yeah, that's true.
So they could even be the intermission. Like, coming back from intermission. I don't know. It's not important. But I want to know, because, like, what?
Sorry, that is so... That's so fucked if they're, like, an intermission, and Blitz was like, hey, Dad, hey, Papa, can I have, like, my own little act with Fizz? And his dad is, like, doesn't want to give him and Fizz their own, you know...
Yeah.
His dad's like, yeah, sure, you can perform in the fucking intermission.
Yeah, no, for real. It's interesting, though, because you think if he wanted to perform, Cash would be like, yeah, let me exploit you for money.
Right.
But also, it could be something like he doesn't think he's good enough, but he does think that Fizz is good enough. But Fizz is notably in, like, 4 more acts.
Yeah.
And Blitz is not. So that is possible.
Yeah. Like, if Blitz specifically wants to perform with Fizz because that's his bestie, but his dad is like, you're gonna just bring Fizz's performance down, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's especially interesting, too, because I don't know if all circuses have this, but a lot of circuses have a kid show, which runs first, and then the pro show that runs after, and they run, like, on the same days, but they're separate shows. And so that means that Fizz is definitely in the pro show from age, like, 10, which is, like, that doesn't happen, really.
Yeah.
So he was, like, good young.
Yeah.
But they might not have a kid show in their circus. But regardless, Blitz was not really in it, and Fizz was. And if they were the intermission, that's it. Crazy.
Yeah.
Especially because presumably Blitz was born to be a circus kid.
Yeah. Yeah, I really want to know what Fizz's deal is. Like, where did he come from? Where are his parents?
Like Vivzy, you can't just spawn him. You gotta give us more info.
Give him your patent Vivzy daddy issues or some. Just give us something. Like,
yeah.
God.
Daddy issues, mommy issues, no parents at all. Like, it doesn't.
Just
Totally normal parents, but that isn't possible at this point. Is the thing.
No.
Because his whole thing wouldn't... If they gave him, like, really normal parents, it wouldn't make any fucking sense, because why was he there?
Yeah, if his parents are totally normal, then they are also not alive. Like, that's the only...
Yeah, he had, like, a really, really loving, like, age, like, 0 to 4, and then his parents died tragically. And he... Yeah. It would also be really funny if they did a he ran away to the circus thing. Because everyone else runs away from the circus. If he ran to the circus, that would be cool.
Yeah. God. And then he's the one who's, like, arguably most fucked up by it.
Yeah. No, actually, Spindlehorse, if you have no idea of what you're going to give Fizz's backstory, you should do that. My unwarranted opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, among the horseshoes, there are also 2 horses that we haven't seen before. One of them is, like, a framed photo. It looks like a circus horse. It's, like, I don't know. It just looks circusy to me. He's colorful.
I zoom in on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one in the painting.
Yeah, it looks like a photograph, right?
Yeah. It's not the one that's a carve-out on the wall.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the framed one. I think it probably is a photograph. I don't know. It could be circus. It does have, like, a saddle on it, which we don't... I think the only horse we've seen a saddle on is Striker's.
Do the circus horses not have saddles?
Oh, they might, and I'm just not remembering them right. But it's definitely, like, a horse meant for riding, which I feel like is important.
Yeah. Makes me wonder if this horse... Just because, like, we haven't seen this picture before, and it's also fairly detailed. Like, a lot of the background stuff is not as detailed as this picture. And that makes me wonder if Blitz had a special connection to this horse, either at the circus, at the horse riding lessons that he stole Veroska's credit card for. Like...
It was the horse.
It was the horse, yeah.
The horse he rode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does feel significant because it's so detailed. It looks like a fire-adjacent horse, and it looks like it has, like, the orange pattern on its red skin is similar to Blitz's.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's interesting.
Yeah. It also, I think it does have eyes on its butt, no?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
I can't. Really tell. It's a little too blurry to tell, yeah.
Yeah.
The other horse is wearing a party hat.
Yeah, the other horse, it's like I assume like a metal decoration kind of thing of a horse wearing a party hat. I don't know if there's any significance to that, but it's cute.
It's cute. Also, I love the fact that Brandon Rogers hates horses.
Yes.
What do you think he felt about this episode? Like, he voiced it, and then he saw the episode, and he was like, fuck.
Fuck. Yeah. Let me Google something really quick to make sure that this horse... Okay. I don't think it's meant to mirror the horse from Spirit.
Yeah, but that would be really funny if it was.
That'd be really funny. For those who don't know, Vivzy had a realization that Blitz has a lot in common with the main character from Spirit, the movie about the horse. and that's where Blitz's horse stuff comes from.
Yeah, because I think wasn't she watching it with like a friend or something, and then was like, you know, Blitz is really just like this person, and the friend was like, you can't just say that.
No, not like this person, like this horse.
Oh, my bad, this horse.
It's a horse.
I haven't seen Spirit.
I haven't either. I'm looking at it. Oh, there is a person in it? I don't know, man. I don't know which one he is.
I assumed when I saw the video about it, because there's a video of Vivsy explaining it, when I saw that, I assumed it was, like, the rider. But no, if it's the horse, that's 10 times funnier. I also... Have you seen that? I don't know what show it is, but there's a horse show where it's, like, it's just about these horses that do, like, competitions and stuff, but it's, like, from, like, all the horses talk, and it's from their perspective, but there is people, and I think they do talk to people. It's weird. But anyway, there's, like, a few episodes where they do, like, mental health and, like, mental illness on horses.
Is this where one of them has an eating disorder?
Yes!
Yeah! No, I have not seen this, but I have... I've overheard a conversation about this show.
I have seen it.
What's
not
it
the whole
called?
show. I don't know.
Hang on, I'm Googling horse eating disorder.
I do think that Blitz found that in the middle of the night and goes back to it every now and again.
Oh, yeah. Is it called Horseland?
I think so.
There's an episode
I know what they... I think so, yeah. And literally, it's like, and the worst fucking part is they do the rep kind of good. Because for those of you that don't know, I study, like, mental health and shit in media, and it's like, it's a horse, so it's not that good. But they do, like, they do, like, performance and competition and how that relates to, like, disordered eating and shit on the horses.
This is crazy. So the storyline of this episode, and we are gonna get back on track after this, but this is an important tangent. I'm on the IMDb page for Horseland episode something called Added Weight from November 29th, 2008. And the storyline on IMDb says, when Pepper gains weight while Zoe is out sick, she feels ugly and embarrassed, especially when the other horses make fun of her, but her crash diet has dire consequences.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. That's pretty accurate.
I'm so deeply curious.
You'll have to watch it after.
Yeah, anyway.
I do just want to say that when I looked up horse eating disorder cartoon, to make sure, because I remember what it looks like, it was a lot of Horseland, but it did also come up with a picture of Hollyhock from BoJack Horseman. I just need to say that.
Yeah, shit. Yeah.
If I had a nickel. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay. We're moving on.
To a much seriouser note, when Blitz moves, he has a squeaky toy sound effect.
Mm-hmm. Very important.
Yep.
He's in his whimsy era.
He's in his whimsy, he's in his earnest.
He's recovering, he's, you know...
I've seen a lot online about how, since Stolas has been there, Blitz feels safer to, like, exist. And one of those things is that we can see in this episode that Blitz has a lot less, or not any bags under his eyes.
Interesting.
And in every other episode, he has a lot, especially more recently, they're really dark. And so, but he has none in this whole episode. And you see that especially in the Googoo eye part. And so, that's really interesting that it shows that he's been sleeping better.
Yeah.
But it's
on
interesting because he's been sleeping on the beanbag, right? And then, especially because this episode opens with, first of all, Blitz going like, how did the sleepy prince or whatever, like, how'd you sleep? But there's a prince joke in there.
Big Bird and Prince sleeps a lot, I believe.
Yeah, he says, how'd you sleep? Prince sleeps a lot or something like that. Yeah. And he also, like, shakes his little butt and tail when he says it. It's weird. he's too whimsical.
He's a fucking dork.
Yeah, he's a dork. But anyway, Stolas wakes up and says, as best as I can, or I best as I could, something like that. Like, best as I could expect. And he pats the couch. Saying, like, related to him sleeping on the couch. But then Blitz, on the other hand, is sleeping on the beanbag, even more uncomfortable than the already uncomfortable place he was sleeping, and he's sleeping better. Interesting to me.
Very interesting. Yeah. Then we have Stolas in the bathroom instinctively reaches for his happy pills and then starts to ask Blitz if they could, like, pick some up, but then he stops himself, either because he's, like, embarrassed or ashamed or just feeling guilty about the whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
the mental health stigma.
Yeah. Especially if he just doesn't know where Blitz stands on that kind of thing, which is fair, because how would he know?
Right. And also, it's a big thing because in Stolas' mind, and probably in reality, he doesn't think that Blitz knows that he has depression, or is mentally ill. And then also, the fact that he's a man and that he's a goeisha, like...
Yeah.
Though that's going to make you not want to talk about being mentally ill. Mm-hmm. Even more than normal people society. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then they sit together at the table to eat breakfast, which I don't know if it's intentional or not, because it's, like, not really. It's not even similar framing necessarily, but it does kind of mirror them sitting at the table in Ozzy's, which they don't even eat a meal in that scene. They kind of just sit there for a few minutes, and then Blitz has his shit rocked by everyone he's ever screwed over.
Yeah.
But, the sort of same vibe of, like, sitting at this table together, except at Ozzy's, Blitz is literally sitting on a pile of books to be at Stolas' like, physical level. Versus in this scene, they're, like, on the same level for the first time.
Right.
And, like, actually eating a meal together is significant. I mean, Stolas doesn't really eat the meal, but...
Yeah, but I think the main significance thing here, like you're saying, is the levels. Because Blitz has to sit on the books before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just piggybacking what you were saying. You said everything. And then the fucking Googoo eyes.
I feel like, we have to explain, just in case.
Yeah, that's true.
Solus starts describing, like, what his usual diet is, and rather than being, like, either judgmental or, like, wow, this pompous rich bastard, whatever, Blitz is just looking up at him with the biggest, widest Googoo eyes, like, so earnest, again, so understanding. He wants to be accommodating so bad. He's just like, it's so it's so sweet.
Yeah. And he's like, also another thing, like, Stolas is explaining this diet that Blitz, and old Blitz probably definitely would, but Blitz could very well be like, wow, you pompous asshole, kill yourself. Like, like, that's all really rich food. Yeah, no, and also, like, the fact that, first of all, he starts with, like, I have my staff prepare me a meal.
Yeah.
Like, bro doesn't even know how to cook, so he doesn't understand, like, all the work that goes into cooking and all the things he's saying and how expensive and time-consuming they all are.
Yeah.
And Blitz would have every right to go into that, but he doesn't. He just says, cool. And then he says, is there anything I could get that's affordable?
Yeah.
but not in, like, a jokey way, just in, like, a, is there anything you eat that I can afford way? Like,
yeah, he's not
so
being,
earnest.
Yeah, he's not being like, oh, wow, that's great. Anything that I have the fucking money for? He's literally just being like, oh, okay, how can we make this work? Like, he's really trying.
So sweet.
And he honestly, if he was an asshole about it, I would not fault him at all. Like, he still has every right to be an ass about it at this point, I think.
And that's why it's so, like, endearing, because it's like, he could be really shitty right now, and he's actively choosing not to when he can be. And that's, like, he's always shitty when he's not supposed to be, even.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I really do, I'm still waiting for Stolas to actually get his shit handed to him and to fucking have an epiphany of, like, oh, shit, I am like that.
Yeah.
Still very much need that to happen, but it is very sweet.
Yeah, I'm hoping season 3 is a lot of Stolas arc, because I feel like we've gotten a lot of Blitz, which, like, obviously the show is about him, but his character's, like, I want it to develop a little more, but his character has developed at this point.
Yes, so much. This season
and we
alone.
haven't really got to see that from Stolas yet. We've just gotten the build-up.
Yeah.
Like, all the things are in place for him to develop, but he hasn't done it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also the fact that he's like rats, and then Blitz is like, I can do that. I'm gonna literally go hunt like a cat.
Yeah. Oh, he's such a fucking. He's a cat. He's a lizard. He's all of the above.
He also said, I'm gonna go put my stompers on. Is that your boots?
Dork.
Is that?
He's such a dork. Oh my god.
And what exactly are stompers? Are they his little gay boots? Like, what are they?
One can only assume. I would assume little gay boots, but yeah. Oh my god.
Blitz, the way I want to study the writing of his words under a microscope, because it is very like dadcore, but also there's more. Like there's a twinge to his vocabulary that gives a very specific vibe, but I cannot figure out what it is.
Yeah, I want to know how much, not in terms of like actual lines of dialogue, like significant lines, obviously, but I'm curious how much Brandon Rogers kind of like ad-libs with the filler words and stuff, because Blitz does a lot of like, he'll be like, it feels like Brandon Rogers' authentic speaking voice coming through. And I feel like that has sort of shaped a lot of how Blitz actually speaks.
Yeah, I can see that, especially like you work with a voice actor for long enough that and you're a writer, you're gonna write like the voice actor. Especially since it's been running for so long. And I know for a fact that with Has Been, a lot of stuff, like, they would start and it wouldn't work, and then Viv would be like, okay, just give me, like, 2 minutes, just go. So that would make a lot of sense if, like, something like a lull happened like that, and they had, like, a session like that with Brandon, and then they just work it in more. Which I love if they do that, because I feel like ad-libbed voice acting is always just so much better.
Yeah, it's so fun.
This is a little thing, but Stolas has to duck through the doorways.
Yeah, well, it is a little thing, but also it kind of is, like, indicative
huge,
of, like, this is his first time living in a world where not everything is made for him. Like, it's not just easy for him to exist. Yeah,
and, I mean, because it's not easy for anybody else to exist, so it's like that flip.
Yeah. And then we have Octavia has Blitz saved in her phone as dad calling from shitty boyfriend's phone, which is so funny, but also has Stolas called her from Blitz's phone before?
Yeah. My only thing is, like, maybe that we've seen is, or not seen, but days that we've seen is maybe seeing stars when they were, like, running around trying to find her. But...
Oh, yeah.
But the only other thing, like... The other option would be that a completely off-screen thing, Stolas had to use his phone to call via, which I cannot even fathom a situation where that would, you know?
I mean, I can imagine, like, but, yeah, I don't, maybe, like, if, Via was, like, with her mother for the weekend or something, and then... I don't know, some situation where Stolas' phone is not available.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
This would have to be a very specific situation, but I could... it's possible.
Wait, no, actually, this begs the question, does Stolas... No, Stolas does have a cell phone. Yeah. I was going to say, does Stolas have a cell phone? Because he also... Because when you go somewhere, you grab your phone, and he didn't grab his phone to go to this trial.
I mean, that was a very, life or death moment where he had to get there as fast as possible.
No, I'm so aware of that. But also I was thinking through, I think the only episode we see him have a phone is Western Energy, right? That's not his landline, because he answers Blitz on his landline most of the time.
No, he has one in, End of the Circus when he's looking through pictures on his phone.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I just feel like we see other characters with their phones a lot more often. Because he uses his landline a lot.
Yeah. It is a very, it's very much used a lot in the show, using phones to tell character stuff. So it makes sense that we've seen it with a lot of them. Yeah, I was gonna say something, I don't remember what it was, so I won't.
I feel like it's worth mentioning, too, that in Blitz's phone, Via is saved as... Is it Via Stolas's bird daughter or something along those
bird
lines?
daughter, yeah.
Yeah. Just so... But you know that he wasn't even trying to make a joke. Like, he was just like, okay, I need to remember who this is. Like,
yeah. No, literally.
But why bird daughter? Like, he's a bird, obviously. Like, that wasn't necessary, but I can so imagine him being like, I need to remember what she looks like.
Yeah, it almost implies that Stolas has multiple daughters, but he doesn't.
Yeah, literally.
So it's like, okay, what is the point? I feel the need to point out that we are on page 2 of 9 of our notes, and we are almost an hour in.
Yeah, we got a little sidetracked by me riding an elephant as a child.
We did, yeah.
Among other things, but...
Yeah, we are not making good pace, is my point.
We are not. So we can... How about we try to speedrun it, and if we don't finish it, we do a part 2 and whatever.
Oh, I really don't want to do that.
A part 2?
A part 2.
Okay, then lock in.
Okay, lock in.
Okay, where are we? So, Via was sitting by her phone to wait for her dad to call.
Yeah. Sad as fuck.
That is so upsetting.
Yeah. Just for the phone to be taken from her also, and she doesn't even get to talk to him.
Exactly, and then Stella also refers to Stolas as a deadbeat, so unreasonably.
Yeah.
But it is similar to Blitz being called a deadbeat towards Barbie, which is also so unreasonable because that's his twin sister. It's not even, like, not that parentification is ever okay, but it's not even his fucking younger sister. They're twins.
They're fucking twins.
Like, we got that confirmed in this episode for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's so fucked. It's like the obligation that's been forced on both of them, like Stolas being forced to have this child to begin with. And not that he
not only being,
you know, he's loved her and tried his best, but
yeah, and not only being forced to have the child, but also being forced to raise her because he didn't want her to grow up like he did, and Stella wasn't gonna give her a better childhood.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's interesting, like, because this episode deals a lot with like the parent that is there but shitty versus the parent that is good but not there. Mm-hmm. And how being there counts more. But obviously it's different because Stolas doesn't have a choice of being there or not.
Yeah.
But, like, Via just hates him more because he's not there, and that's ultimately what matters to a kid, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so interesting.
It is. It's really good. And then also, interestingly, Octavia doesn't seem to blame her mom, like, at all. Which, I mean, she does, especially when Stella and Androlphus are being all like, oh, ha ha ha, it's embarrassing. He doesn't even, you know, being all shitty.
Yeah.
Like, Octavia does seem, like, annoyed by that, but it doesn't seem like she's... I mean, obviously she doesn't know the role that Stella and Androlphus had in, you know, fabricating this whole situation.
Right.
But then also, Octavia doesn't really hold any other ill will towards Stella that we see, which just sort of further confirms, like, Stella conditioning her to be against Stolas, which is something we've been saying since day one.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, too, because it could be that, but then also there's the fact of she's annoyed and obviously doesn't like her mom just talking straight up shit about her dad. Mm-hmm. But she also doesn't say anything at all or engage with them. She just leaves the room. So that makes me think that it's also a case of, like, coping with it. Like, she knows that she's not going to be able to do anything about it, and that's just how she's going to be. So she just leaves. Yeah. So she could have a lot of pent up feeling about her mom, but feel like she can't say it to her, as opposed to with Stolas, like, she has all these feelings, and she knows she can communicate with him.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then Stolas starts hitting himself with the phone, and Blitz very quickly, again, going back to bro, does have coping skills. Like, he very quickly de-escalates. He takes the phone away from Stolas and holds his hand, and he says, and breathe. Like, bro, like, it's so quick.
Like, if he just took the phone away, or, like, if he even just took his hands, like, that's kind of, I could understand as, like, a instant, like, whoa, stop doing that. But he literally takes away the object. Like, he did the exact thing you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
He took away the object of harm, he took his hands so Stolas could not continue to harm himself, and then he gave him a coping skill of breathing.
Yeah. It's so...
And this makes me think, like, has Bro been to therapy? Has Bro researched coping skills for himself or others? And also, it makes me think that maybe when he was involved with Barbie, like, was he going to those classes at the rehab? Was he going to visitation hours to learn how to help her? Mm-hmm. And is that where he learned all this stuff?
Yeah. He does say in Murder Family that he like, offhandedly mentions a therapist. And we always disregarded that and joked about it being a BetterHelp therapist. But... you know,
Bro could be so healed.
That's why he's been able to have this growth in season 2. Like, it's not just the on-screen stuff. He's also just been going to therapy every 2 weeks.
Yeah, so all the on-screen stuff happens, and then he goes to his therapist.
Yeah, the on-screen stuff, very little to do with it. Like,
yeah, he his month-long crash out, his therapist was on vacation.
Yeah. Yeah.
His therapist said, put yourself first, and then he did.
And then he did. Okay. But then, moving on to, our teaching Stolas how to be a person montage, which is a very, very brief little section, but the kitchen catches on fire while Blitz is cooking, and he barely bats an eye. Which is similar to Murder Family when the office catches on fire and Blitz is the least concerned person in the room. But, like, does his kitchen catch on fire often? Because he just does not... For a guy with fire trauma, like, I just feel like you'd expect a bit more.
If he does... No, that's true. And I do also, every time this happens, I'm like, what the hell? Because he also catches on fire later in this episode, like, himself. And is so nonchalant about it.
That's a few bullet points down, yeah.
Yeah, but also, if it's implied that his kitchen catches on fire a lot, I feel like that implies that he's a bad cook, so him and Fizz both being bad cooks is really funny to me.
No, yeah, bad cook for bad cook.
Yeah.
They're perfect together.
They're perfect together. They should make it happen. I know that this is entirely gearing up for Stolitz, but I don't care.
I don't care. Throw some Fizz Blitz in there. It'll make things fun.
No, because we haven't seen the Fizz-Ozzy argument, which why the fuck didn't we see any Fizz and Ozzy this episode, but putting that aside.
Like, there's a lot happening in this episode, but...
If we do not open season 3 with a fight scene between the two of them, maiming, killing.
I swear to fucking God. If they literally just gloss over the whole thing and they're just like, it's okay, you did what you could, I will kill someone.
Yeah. Because in, what was it, Oops, we open with an Ozzy and Fizz scene, so it's not like they don't open, you know, it's not that they're too much side characters or anything to do that. They've done that before. So I want them to open with the argument, and then he shows up at Blitz's apartment or some shit, I don't know, like...
Yeah, no, same. Or even, like, the episode starts that way with them having an argument, and then, like, we don't see them again until the end of the episode, and it's like, Blitz opens the door and Fizz is outside, and he's like, hey, can I come in? Like... there we go. That's great. The season 3 premiere. Thank you.
But yeah, if Stolas does a hard pivot to like, I'm sorry, I can't be with you at all. I need to be with my daughter, and then after Blitz does all this for him, and then Fizz shows up because Ozzy and him have a fight, like, perfect.
I think it's very possible, because, I mean, we'll get into the end of this episode, where Stolas is very much checked out from the whole everything with Blitz, and it's, I think it's possible. I can hope. I can dream. 9 months from
Yeah.
now.
9 months from now.
9 months from now, a Fizz Blitz baby will be born.
See, I was gonna go the route of 9 months from now, Eminem will have a baby and also Fizz Blitz, but...
The baby is Fizz Blitz.
Yeah.
It's their romance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we're gonna, we have a lot of hot takes in this episode regarding Stolitz that we'll get to. And I'm curious to see how people react.
We are not a fan favorite.
No.
I don't think we typically are a fan favorite, honestly.
No. But we are gonna be right in the end.
Yeah, I feel like
So you
half
can
the
all
time
suck
too. I feel like half the time too we are right if we're counting like our season 2 stuff. Forget
Yeah.
season 1.
Yeah. None of that was
We were
accurate,
crazy. Yeah.
but we had fucking nothing to go off of. Leave us alone.
That's true.
Anyway. The escalation of Stolas being off of his meds is done very well. As
Yeah.
someone who... As two people who have experienced being off our meds.
True. I just got back on my meds. But yeah, it's like the fact that it's not so bad at first. It's just like a little bit. And then now we're here and he's like genuinely insufferable to be around.
Yeah.
But you can tell that it's all like bro is mentally ill. Like this
Yeah.
is mental illness. And especially too, I like that they made him a bitch / neg with depression. Because I feel like a lot of times people are like, and a lot of what we've seen from Stolas too is like his depression just being mopey and sad and like I hate everything. But there is that irritability and that lashing out and being awful to be around.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all here and it's great.
Yeah. We also have a little moment where Blitz and Stolas steal from the store together, which kind of parallels them playing pirates as kids when they're going around stealing all the stuff in Stolas' house. I made a post on our Tumblr about this, pointing out this parallel, and it has 2,700 notes, so, thanks for that.
Yeah, you are all crazy.
Literally every time I open our Tumblr, it has more notes. If I go, like, more than 24 hours without checking it, the next time I open the app, it's like, you have 99 plus notifications. I'm like, oh my god, it's not stopping. So, that's fun. We are sort of using our Tumblr now, BTW, at Helluva Podcast.
And I don't know what we'll use going forward, but just a heads up, it probably won't be TikTok, because TikTok's going to get banned in, like, 5 days. So, follow our other stuff. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Blitz says that Sinsmas is a day for Hellborns to celebrate their birth sin or, quote, or any sin, whichever one they want, honestly.
Yeah.
And this is loaded. Because does Blitz know where he's from? And I said this to you, and you were like, yeah. And then you were like, wait a minute. Because, like, we don't actually... Like, we can assume, like, where the circus was, but we don't actually know. Because I feel like there was parts of the show where we thought the circus was in Pride, like, when he was young. But then the fire, it's green when the fire happens. So that would be Greed. Mm-hmm. And circuses travel. Not all circuses, but a lot of them. So... being a traveling circus would make a lot of sense, especially if you're a bigger one. Like, I feel like most big circuses are traveling.
Yeah.
And so, were you going to say something?
I was, sorry.
No, you're good.
It also, like, in Western Energy, the racist lady says he's from Wrath, and he does, like, kind of very confidently say, like, oh, I'm not from Wrath, which makes me think he has, like, some idea, but that was also a very loaded moment, so it's not, I don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, because if he genuinely doesn't know, he could just be choosing to be like, well, I'm not from Wrath, or maybe he's asked his dad, and his dad's like, well, you're not from Wrath, or something. Yeah. Maybe his dad's from Wrath. Like, I'm wondering, like, he did seem very sure, like, I am not from Wrath, but then also, like, that's loaded on why are you so proud to not be from Wrath, and how do you know?
Yeah.
Maybe the circus never went to Wrath, though, because if Wrath is meant to be the very lowest class, then they probably don't go there because Cash just wants to make money.
Yeah,
so maybe he's never
true.
been to Wrath until his adult life.
Yeah, that's true.
But he would have no idea if he was born there or not, because he only knows where he went in the circus, but he doesn't know where it started.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Stolas is an absolute privileged cunt.
These just really keep going, like, everywhere.
Because Blitz says, like, wow, rich people really don't know how to have fun, or something like that. And Stolas says, fun is free. We can afford nice things. Which, again, he's been off his meds for, like, 2 weeks at this point. He's being so insufferable. But also, buddy, that is your dad talking.
Yeah.
That is such a Paimon, like, can we be far enough away that I can't smell the poor kind of shit.
Yeah, no, when I first heard this line, I was like, ugh, he's so, like, that's so annoying and out of character, but then I was like, wait, he's off his meds, and also, this seems like one of those things, like, you say it because your parents said it, and then you actually hear it, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So...
Like, if he were to say that while medicated, he probably would have had a moment like, oh my god, that's what I sound like, but...
Yeah.
Stars just not aligned in this moment.
Bro's gonna get on his meds and be like, I am horrible. I am so privileged.
Yeah. Oh, you know what would be interesting? If, even now, this is jumping ahead, but, like, you know, we see he gets his meds back at the end of this episode. It'd be interesting if he continues not taking them.
Yeah.
I don't know, I could just see him being all self-destructive about it.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
He's very much, like, giving up by the end of this episode.
Yeah, and where also, like, Via shamed him for it, he's gonna reject the shit out of that.
Yeah. 1 second. One of my AirPods just disconnected, but the other one didn't.
Silly. Okay, do you want me to vamp, or do you want to just wait?
Oh. How are they dying? That's not possible. Hang on. What? Yeah, I'm gonna, mute myself. You vamp.
Okay. Yeah, I think that whole thing is really interesting, especially because, Blitz now knows that he has happy pills and that he's on happy pills. So if he, like, he's doing this caretaker role, so if he starts taking care of him and being like, hey, Stolas, like, puts it with his breakfast with a little bit of, like, juice or something, and then is like, hey, you gotta take your meds. And has he ever been in that situation before, too? Like, going back to his mom being sick theory, like, has he ever been in that, like, or even Barbie, like, has he ever had to manage medication for people? I would be very interested to see how that goes, if Stolas takes them on his own and if Blitz steps in or not. Are you back or no?
I'm
okay,
back.
Cool. So we're on Luna celebrates gluttony for her sin.
Yes. So either she's originally from there or the Pound was in gluttony. Or she just vibes with it.
I don't know if we know for sure that the Pound is in gluttony, but I think it's pretty... it's either gluttony or... I think it is gluttony because of, like, the overindulgence and, like, carelessness, and people reproduce more there.
Yeah.
And then also there's just more hellhounds in gluttony. Generally, like the parties and stuff. So I think, I don't know if it's confirmed, but I think that's the general consensus, that the Pound is in gluttony, and then this just kind of confirms that. But it makes me wonder, like, was she born there and then, like, immediately went into the Pound? Like, was she born and then got put in the Pound and just never got adopted? Or was she, like, did she get put in there at some point for some reason?
Yeah, if Luna was there for the entire first 17 years of her life, that is so upsetting.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder, too, if, like, do they got foster care in hell? Like, probably. But, like, because they said, they were talking about, like, what she was like and, like, good riddance. And that made me think she's been there for a while, but also it could be that, like, every time, if there is foster care, every time that she goes out, that she gets put back in for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And kids like that are usually viewed very low. So it's interesting to me. I want to know more about the child services system in hell.
Yeah. And then we already kind of talked about this, but Blitz says something offhand about how he set his apartment on fire last Sinmas, and then as he said that, his cape is briefly on fire and he pats it out. There's just so much casual fire in this episode, and he's so chill about it. I'm so deeply curious, like, how much of this is, like, for a bit. Like, you can't do a bit about this when he literally set his circus on fire.
Yeah, literally. And to an extent, having the fire trauma and then acting like this is kind of accurate because he, like, jokes about it a lot.
Yeah.
Sure. But you can't have both, because also in Murder Family, he, like, literally flinches away from the fire. So,
and that's fire that can't even hurt him, yeah. So.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I guess maybe he's at a point where he's healing from his trauma. Maybe he is having really good therapy, I don't know. But he also, in this point, he says, yeah, last Sinmas we had at my apartment and it caught on fire, so we're doing it at the office this year. It's insured. So we're gonna timeline this. Is it the pilot that he says, the fuck is insurance?
That's the pilot.
Right?
Like the pilot. Yeah.
Right, but he says that in the pilot, and then there's another episode, I'm forgetting which one, that the one where they keep breaking the wall. That he says something along the lines of, like, I should look into that insurance thing. And now he's insured.
That's really funny. I don't remember him saying that is that Cherubs?
Maybe.
I know that's where they break the wall like 2 or 3 times with the loop-de-loop guy and shit.
Yeah, it is Cherubs because the last one's Wally.
Right.
And he says, I think, in regards to Wally breaking the wall the last time. But, I should really look into that insurance thing. And then he did look into it, and bro learned about insurance.
Yeah. So sometime between, like, no. When would that be? That would be, it's right before Harvest Moon. So presumably, like, early fall, end of summer of last year.
Yeah, but it's also interesting because did he do it directly after the wall thing, or did he do it after he set his apartment on fire? Like, was there insurance on his apartment, and so he was like, oh shit, I gotta get that for the office or something, like.
Okay.
Like, wait, what was the actual?
I went to the transcript for Cherubs, and it's when Loopty first breaks through the wall. Blitz says, please tell me you got that insurance thing.
Oh.
To someone. So he tasked someone else at the office with doing it.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
I don't know who he's looking at when he says that, because this is the transcript, but.
My guess is Moxie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he does, like, the office shit. Even though that's definitely, like, Luna's job, but irregardless.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, fire insurance, anyway.
Yeah. Take your boyfriend to work day is our next section. Millie and Moxie fighting at the start here is really cute and silly. However, Stolas is fucking appalled by them fighting.
Yeah, Bro is the most flabbergasted we've ever seen him.
Yeah, probably something about imps, specifically imps from Wrath, acting like, all violent and stuff. It probably comes across as barbaric to his rich white ass. Even though this moment, it's obvious to us, the viewers who know Millie and Moxie, like, this is actually a very sweet and loving moment between them. Like, they're not actually trying to hurt each other. But then there are other theories surrounding this, one being that it could be related to him being a victim of abuse himself. Like, yeah, that could be a part of it.
Yeah, I could see it a little bit to be, like, reacting because they're a couple.
Yeah.
But also, I don't see it that much because I think if it was, like, a fear of her and stuff, and, like, if it was a trauma thing, he would be thinking about that. I think he would have been protecting himself, and he wasn't doing that at all.
Yeah. My AirPods
I like
thing again.
Okay, I'm gonna vamp about this next theory because I know you agree with it. I also agree with it.
I think it's really funny, yeah. I'm gonna go get a different pair of headphones, so I might be a second.
Okay. I'll just vamp. Just let me know when you're back. So the other theory is that apparently in real life, owls can detect pregnancy. So maybe Stolas knows that Billy is pregnant and is like, hey, what the fuck? There is a baby in there. Why are you fighting? And I think that, like, I think it's a little bit of both. I think the barbaric part, like him seeing them as barbaric, is definitely part of it because first of all, he doesn't see people fight like this. And second of all, he thinks that, he, like, probably subconsciously thinks that they're more dangerous and wild and barbaric than other people. Or at least higher class people. And then, yeah, the pregnancy theory, I just really like that because I want to see how that ages. Like, maybe, because we have this a little bit later with the pregnancy thing, but, like, if Blitz finds the pregnancy test and asks him about it, he's going to be like, what do you mean? That's Millie. So I'm curious to know if the owls can sense pregnancy or detect pregnancy will come up in the show at all. And then it's kind of adorable that Blitz gets super into the holiday spirit throughout this. I think, like, if someone had asked me if I thought Blitz was super into holidays, I would have said no, especially with the Halloween that he wasn't really into. But then he's super into this, but now that it's happening, I'm like, yeah, he would be into Christmas. Like, he would love it and love making the cookies and dressing up and being like, it's a holiday. Like, he would love that. But yeah, so it's cute. And then the next note we have is Stolas says... So Blitz says something along the lines of money coming in, and Stolas says, money coming in, oh lords, I'm poor now, which is so real. Audie wrote, I say this every time I check my bank account. So Stolas says he doesn't look down on Blitz, but he does kind of look down on the poor, and that's really shown here because he thinks of himself as less than in this moment. For being poor. Okay, cool.
Hello.
Yeah, I heard your noises.
My noises.
Yeah, there's like a buzzing noise when you showed up. I don't know why.
Oh, strange. Anyway, go on.
I was just wrapping up the money coming in note. The last thing we have here is Stolas, hand-holding emoji, Blitz, equals always on the verge of a breakdown. We talk about this with Blitz a lot, but Stolas, like, he said money coming in and bro freaked the fuck out and started crying. Like,
yeah. And again, yeah, that is just like me for real.
Yeah. And that is just like Blitz for real. That is just like Blitz being like, I am not fucking you tonight, and then starts crying.
No, so true. Yeah. Yeah, and then Stolas starts secretating. He gets a call and starts doing his new job, and Blitz has like a little tail flick, like kind of nervous but excited to watch Stolas do this job, and he's like so supportive. It's just, Blitz in this episode is so freaking cute. He's just like, he waves little flags. He's like, yes, you got it.
And usually I hate when shows have like a more typically masculine guy and then they make him all ooh-woo cute, but I think they balanced it really well with Blitz.
Yeah.
Because he does have like masculine sides, but he has had this horse thing this whole time. And also, he's like cute, but he's not like, oh my god, ooh-woo, small little thing, cute either.
Yeah. He's just a fag, is the thing.
Yeah. And he's sweet and supportive. Like, all of his like cute stuff is justified. It's not like... Like, it's a really hard pivot, but it doesn't feel... Some of it feels a little off just because it's a hard pivot, but it doesn't feel, like, out of character, which is surprising for this show.
Yes. And then we have... Stolas, talking about the human guy that cheated, but obviously he's really talking about himself here, where he says, selfish men like him don't deserve to live. Stolas, please don't kill yourself. So many people on Tumblr think you're so sexy.
They do.
People want to fuck you, I promise.
In both forms, well, in all three forms probably, but in the two main ones.
What's the third?
The scary monster one.
Oh! Yeah, of course. Yeah.
This section is just Octavia.
Octavia!
I said it like Stolas. I didn't know how it was supposed to be said.
Yeah, I more meant it in like a screaming, crying, throwing up way, but
yeah, that's
yours
what I
also
figured.
works. Yeah. Yeah, Octavia, my special little starfire, Octavia, she, at first she's happy while looking through her dad's stuff. She's got like a little smile on her face, but then she finds the picture of them that's from You Will Be Okay, and that's when she gets sad and angsty.
Yeah,
and
I
starts
feel like
singing.
I feel like at first she's looking through the stuff being like, oh, I miss my dad, all these good things. Like, it's comforting her. And then she sees the You'll Be Okay, and that reminds her of the stars.
Yeah.
And how she didn't get to see the stars. That's my theory on it.
Yeah, and then also probably remembering the song that he sang her when she was little.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And then her guitar says Love Dad on the back of it, which means Stola's got her the guitar, which is so cute.
Yeah, which poses the question, A, does Stolas play any instruments? And B, did Via, like, ask for a guitar? Like, was it, like, her 9th birthday and she was like, Dad, I want a guitar, I want to learn how to play guitar. And then he did, because that would be so cute.
I would 100% believe that faggot plays piano. And that he would sit little Octavia next to him on the bench and they would play together. That's my personal headcanon.
I would have to agree. And then also, like, when she got good at guitar, they'd, like, have a little jam.
Yeah.
And also, he, like, plays piano, but he was also forced to learn piano. Like, he had to as a kid, but then he was like, oh, I like this.
Yeah. God. Stolas, Helluva Bossy would love Wyland Van Eck, Six of Crows.
Is this the one you tell me I would love, or is it another one that you tell me I would love?
He's the one that I love.
Okay.
You would also fuck heavy with him, I think.
Okay. There's one guy from there that you're like, hey, by the way, all the time, and I just don't know which one.
I think it is him.
Okay.
If I had to guess.
That's not relevant.
Great books. Yeah, so then Via sings her song that I have totally normal feelings about and feel so normal when I listen to it. And there's, like, a part in, like, the animation where, it's, like, Octavia's perspective of Blitz and Stolas, and Blitz's tail wraps around Stolas in, like, a possessive and kind of vicious-looking way from her perspective.
It's, like, just predatory, almost.
Yeah, just, like, the way that she views him is so, and it's not, like, at fault of her. It's just, like, the way she views him is not in alignment with reality. But, like, what else would she believe in this situation, I guess?
It's particularly interesting, too, because obviously this guy, like, took her dad away. And she has a more nuanced idea of that than just straight up that. But it's, like, he tore her family apart. And then, so obviously she's going to think he's bad. But then there's also the fact of class. Via has all the same class stuff that Stolas has, even though, like, I truly believe that Via will go out into the world and be like, holy shit, and, like, fix herself. She's, like, punk rock and shit. Like, she'll be fine. But,
totally.
But she doesn't, right now, she has no other worldly experience. So she does look down on these people. She does think they're lower. Maybe her dad doesn't say it straight up, but her mom definitely does.
Yeah.
And her mom said that about Blitz so many times, called him so many, like, very classist names at the least. And so, yeah, she also probably has that, like, barbaric and, like, he's, like, her dad's being, like, sought after and hunted kind of mindset about it.
Right. Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah. Then we also see, it's like a shadow of Blitz and Stolas that appear over a portrait. I didn't know how to write this in a way that wasn't confusing. I'm just gonna try my best, but it's a portrait of Stolas, Stella, and Octavia, like a family portrait of the three of them, and then it's the shadows of Blitz and Stolas going on top of that, but Stolas's shadow isn't over himself, it's over Stella, and Blitz's shadow is over Stolas, and we were on FaceTime trying to figure out why that's the case.
Yeah, and isn't there a picture before as well that sorry, I'm like scrubbing through the episode trying to find her song. I believe there's a picture before that they are lined up. So to switch it like that is really interesting.
I don't remember if there is.
Yeah, I'm watching through right now. I'll pause if I see it. Okay. But yeah, the switching of the roles is really interesting because that means like having Stolas over Stella when Stolas is actively in the picture, I feel like has to mean something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I could think of is like Blitz trying to like take Stolas's place in her life, but that's not what's happening at all, so that doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
Yeah, and also there's not a picture before. I'm crazy. But it's like saying that Stolas is in Stella's role and Blitz is in Stolas's role.
Yeah.
But what are those roles in this situation? I can't tell.
Yeah. I feel like there has to be a reason for it, but I don't know.
Yeah, then the only thing I can think is maybe their relationship dynamic. Like, if Via thought that Stella was the bad one, now she thinks that Stolas is the bad one, but then why would Blitz be in Stolas's position, unless this is trying to show the side of, like, Via that maybe doesn't think that Blitz is the bad guy in this situation? Because I don't think she likes him, but also later she like goes like I don't think she likes him obviously, and thinks that like because we see that with the wraparound tail and stuff, but I think it's more nuanced than that because she also when Blitz later says like a bad look and she says a very bad look, like she jokes with him. So I wonder if because she's probably thought that about her parents' relationship as well, like there is an abuser and an abuse victim here, but also they are intense with each other. So she's probably thought about, like, who's the worst one, as any child of bad, toxic parents does.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if she's trying to grapple with a similar thing here. That's my best guess.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with that.
And I feel like that's really far-fetched, but I just have literally no other idea of what it could be. Watch it be, like, the most obvious thing, though.
Yeah, no, we're probably... I don't know what it would be, but we probably are totally missing something.
Yeah, people in our comments are going to be like, it's literally because of insert the most obvious thing literally ever.
Yeah.
And we're going to be like, oh. It's like when people comment, it's like when people are still commenting, his scars are from the circus fire.
We didn't know that at the time. Obviously, we know that now.
The episode had not come out.
If you guys are wondering why at the start of all of our episodes we say, by the way, this is the most recent episode of Helluva Boss, we didn't do that at the start of this podcast, and we sorely regret it, so that's why we do it now.
Honestly, for that exact comment. Like, there's some other stuff, but that exact comment mostly.
Yeah, everything post-oops, where people are like, Blitz got his scars from the fire, you fucking idiots. We're like, yeah, no, we know that.
We know.
We know.
How fucking stupid do you think we are, guys?
No, literally. They think we're so dumb.
Like, why would we have a podcast?
Oh my god. That will haunt me to the day that I die.
I know you're like all 11 or something probably, but
Getting humbled by fucking 11-year-olds. Yeah.
We love you all, to be clear.
We love you so much. Please don't think we're stupid. We're a little stupid, but we're not that stupid.
We're a little stupid. We're a little crazy, but you listen to us, so that says something.
Yeah. We can see what fucking devices you're listening from, you Amazon Alexa babies.
Amazon Alexa.
Okay. Anyway. Did we say Octavia... this part. Octavia sings "Were You Bluffing All Along?"
Yes,
we just did that. You're right.
That was the thing we stuck on for so long.
Okay. Next part.
You can go ahead, take the next thing.
Yeah. So as Octavia is sort of like deciding not to forgive Stolas in this song, the room starts crumbling around her, which is already like, yeah, that imagery makes sense. But when you play this song side by side with "You Will Be Okay," this happens at the same time that the planets start crumbling and falling apart in that song, which is just so fucking good. I mean, a lot of people have been putting these two songs together for the obvious reasons. And there's the obvious callback of "You Will Be Okay" in this song, but I just thought that was a really cool detail. Literally, like, same exact time.
Yeah.
And
also, I feel the need to say that it's not just a callback to the lyric, it's also a callback to the music. Like, I Will Be Okay is the same exact melody. Is that a melody?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's someone on YouTube who put the two, like, legitimately together.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to see what we're talking about, you can just look that up.
Yeah. And then it also is just kind of indicative of, like, in You Will Be Okay, Stolas is, like, preparing Octavia for a world that he's not in, and being like, if I'm not here, you'll be okay. Like, your world is gonna go on without me. Not realizing that he is her world, essentially. And I feel like this part really drives that home.
Which, that is fascinating, because why are you preparing her for a world that you're not gonna be in?
Guy
like,
who's
the obvious
not
reason.
Suicidal.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. But, like, that early, it's interesting because a lot of people online talk about how, like, Stolas has only been depressed for a little while, or they're like, he was born with it. Like, there's no in between. Which, I mean, nature, nurture, everything was in the opposite, especially because Via is showing signs of it as well. So it's definitely genetic, and then also the nurture aspect of it. But
yeah,
there's also the fact of, like, that develops over time to a degree as well. So it's like, knowing the time frame is really interesting, because how suicidal was he when Via was born? Like, when she was 5, at this point in her life.
Yeah.
Like, was it genuinely an option at that point? Or is that when he went on his meds? Like, what, Like, did he go on his meds because she realized that he was her world? Or he doesn't realize that till now? Like, what? I want to know more.
Yeah.
What was his mental health journey?
Tell us your journey, bro. Yeah.
No, literally.
no, it's really, oh my god, I have something in my eye. But it's so fascinating. I mean, I remember way back when we covered Lululand and us talking about You Will Be Okay, as, like, he's literally preparing his child for life without him. Like, that, there's no...
Yeah.
That's not a thing that mentally healthy people do.
Yeah, well,
especially
that's
when you're fucking immortal, or, like, the Goetia. Like, don't they live
right,
fucking
exactly.
ever? Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, first of all, people don't normally do that. Like, you don't sit your kid down and be like, okay, so when I die... I mean, I think my parents did that, but that's beside the point. What did you say?
Maybe more people should do that.
Yeah, no, that's true. But anyway, I thought it was foreshadowing of something, which it very well could be. This could be a curveball to throw us off. But with the being like, when creation goes to die, you can find me in the sky, like all of that.
Yeah.
I said something really smart to you once about creation being something. Oh, fucking Lucifer.
Right.
When creation goes to die. So that's another thing, a theory for you as a treat. But anyway, that I thought was going to be something big, but it very well could just be that he was suicidal. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. We just now got a comment on Mastermind, our episode.
Right? What does it say?
I don't... This is from Olivia. Hi, Olivia.
Hi, Olivia. Live tweet.
Olivia's gonna be so fucking shocked when they listen to this. No, it just says, just a note, Luna was 17 when Blitz adopted her. When the adoption hellhound lady said Luna was gonna age out soon, that means when she turns 18, and she's canonically 22 now. I don't know what that's in response to. I just thought it was funny that we got a comment as we're recording, so I wanted
that is
to
really funny.
shout it out.
No, that's really good. Hey, Olivia.
Hi, Olivia. Thank you for the clarification. I think we understood that, but maybe we said something wrong, so thank you.
Yeah, if you want to comment what that was in response to in this video, so we know. But, because, yeah, I think we did know that. I think were we talking about Luna and Via's age in proximity to each other, maybe? Maybe we said something wrong?
Maybe? I don't know. We're always going back and forth with timeline bullshit, and sometimes we talk ourselves in circles, and by we, I mean mostly me, honestly.
And sometimes we're just wrong, also.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
so I'm sure, Olivia, that it was important.
Yeah,
But,
thank you so much. We love our audience.
Yeah. Anyway, during I Will Be Okay, there's little like purple things that drop from the sky, and they're shaped like tears, and so that makes me wonder if they're one of Azathoth. Can you say it? Thank you. Her tears.
Yeah, man.
Because of the whole intro in Seeing Stars we haven't touched upon.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's just a little nod to that as like that was another experience where Stolas let Octavia down.
Yeah.
With the whole seeing Azathoth's tears thing they were supposed to do together.
Right.
And then he didn't. So it could just be a nod to, like, she's still dealing with that disappointment. But I'm curious if that whole Azathoth's tears world-building shit is ever going to actually turn into anything more substantial. Because it felt big.
But they also... I don't remember the exact wording. I don't know if you want to pull up the transcript. But there's something... It's something along the lines of, like, they harness power. And so I think that's really interesting because that is exactly what she's doing here. Is she's harnessing her power, and like her dad taught her how to do all of her powers, and then he's gone, so now she has to do it herself. And I feel like that's kind of if the monologue there is related at all to power, I feel like that's what it's maybe indicative of, is like coming into her power and stepping away from being, like a protege to her dad and just being powerful herself because her dad's not going to do the things he promises.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
Do you want me to just read it? It's like a few sentences.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. In the great expanse of the nether, there exists boundless amounts of magnificent phenomenon, the great brilliance of an hang on. Am I fucking insane, or is this punctuation not making any sense? Okay, whatever. The great brilliance of an exploding star, the nimble dance of space dust through a nebula, but once every 1,000 years, our corner of reality is treated to an incredible sight from the deep eldritch recesses of the cosmos. The tears of a forgotten colossus begin to fall. Tears made of the hopes and dreams of every living thing that never came to be. That's it right there, isn't it?
I think the hopes and dreams of every living thing that never came to be is
that's what
I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
I don't know why I was saying power, but
no, that's it. That's being disappointed in your dad out the wazoo.
Yeah, no, exactly. And like the hopes and dreams, like that's what I was trying to vamp on, is like stepping into your own thing and making your own hopes and dreams happen because your dad isn't sticking to the things that he said he'd do.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is also like her maturity moment too, which is, I mean, 17 I guess is kind of the age to have it, but yeah, it's interesting to see. It's very coming of age, very like, okay, I'm my own person now.
It's really interesting that, I mean, going off of what Olivia just said for us, that Octavia is the age now that's Luna was when Blitz adopted her. That's, I don't know, timeline-wise, that's fun. I want them to be sisters.
I want them to be sisters.
I want them to be sisters. I want them to bond to be sisters.
Or even just besties, but like sisters would be better because then it's like big sister, little sister kind of thing.
Exactly.
But also, the mirroring of like Luna was forced to be independent and keep her own, and then was adopted at 17 and taken care of, and now Via, who has been taken care of her whole life, is now abandoned at 17.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And then also there's the theory that Blitz was 17 when, or like, he was around there. So if Blitz was 17 when the fire happened, that's also interesting. And then if, I don't know, Stolas had to get married, I don't know.
17 is a big year.
Yeah, in real life and in this show.
No, for real. It would honestly, that all makes sense. Like, damn.
Yeah. And Olivia, not our commenter, but the Rodrigo is so sick of it. So
we've cracked this thing wide open.
No, because not actually a theory or anything, but when I have seen so many Olivia Rodrigo edits to fucking Helluva Boss, and especially, like, Sins Miss and Mastermind, and they're always so good. Like, they're always right.
Yeah. What's the thing I sent you recently that was, it wasn't very good, but it was an edit of Blitz to a song that had a lot of potential. Do you remember what song it was?
Was it the... No, I sent you that one.
We send each other a lot of things, is the thing.
Yeah, we do.
I don't know.
I don't know. Do you
know
want to shout out the one that you made, though? Was that...
Oh, yeah. I made a Stolitz edit to Favorite Crime by Olivia Rodrigo, and that is on our YouTube channel, AA Discussions. Link in our Instagram bio.
It's good. You should watch it. It will make you upset.
It is the full song. I did take about 24 hours of my life to make it.
You're on winter break, it's fine.
It's kind of my magnum opus, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's maybe the best thing I'll ever make. Watch it.
The best thing you'll ever make being a Stolitz edit is so sad.
Yeah, no, I would have to kill myself if that was true. I would have to.
Now you have to publish your book is the thing, because if that's your magnum opus, you will have to kill yourself.
Oh, God, yeah. Okay, new motivation.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of fire imagery in this song, too.
Yeah.
Burns pictures, her footsteps leave fire behind.
Yeah.
Is it meant to mirror Look My Way?
Yeah, because there's a lot of, like, watery imagery, both in Look My Way and then in Mastermind, but again, that is meant to mirror Look My Way, of, like, Blitz and then, or Stolas, and then also Blitz being, like, in water, versus Octavia here walking through fire. It, feels meaningful.
Yeah. I feel the need to say that I'm sorry I just swallowed so loud into my microphone. I needed to take a sip of water desperately.
I didn't hear it, if that's anything.
Okay, cool. I'm more worried about the listeners, not you.
Yeah, well, I want you to know that I did not hear it, so therefore it's fine.
Okay, well.
I've switched to my, like, big, my big headphones, by the way, and they hurt the top of my head so fucking bad, so my life is so hard.
You're the most tragic guy.
Yeah. Anyway, Octavia says, I'll just get older and you'll only know my name. So she does want me to kill myself. It's the thing.
Not the show, her.
Octavia Goetia, she wants me dead. Why the fuck would she say that, dude?
Because she gets you.
She gets me. Shout out all my girls with strained relationships with their fathers. For real. Like, we understand each other.
Yeah. No, this song, unfortunately, does fuck so severely.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna elaborate, but I don't want to.
Okay, cool. We're good to move?
Yeah.
And then Stolas's meds say you say it. Belphegor. Okay, because I know the names, but then I try to sound them out when I'm reading them, and I'm dyslexic, so I can't sound shit out.
Yeah.
So Belphegor hard candy is what they say on them. So it's from Sloth because they're depressants, which you pointed out, which is good.
Yeah.
Which also, we had a conversation because I know that that antidepressants aren't uppers. I know that in my brain, but why the fuck are antidepressants depressants? It doesn't make any sense. Like, I know that it's just a drug type and then the thing that it does, but, like, that's stupid.
We spent so much time talking about this on FaceTime.
They should make a new drug name or something. That's horrible. Anyway.
Yeah.
Why are they called hard candy? They're definitely a prescription because the bottle has Stolas' name on it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But
yeah,
whatever, I guess.
Yeah, but that's just little details. Like, we don't have anything on it, but that's just it.
Yeah.
All right, we enter Stolas Crash Out.
Stolas Crash Out, which is honestly a very brief section in these notes, which I think is really funny.
He kind of only has a little crash out.
Yeah, like, honestly, I expected more from him. He should have crashed out harder.
But I think this was really huge for him, is the thing.
Yeah, no, it was.
This was the most emotion he's shown since, like, ever.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets a call on Blitz's phone that says, "Hey, I'm calling about your extended warranty on your new RoboPony 2000." So, So is that just a spam call? Because the extended warranty bullshit, that's a common spam call. Or did Blitz actually buy a RoboPony 2000? Because he fucking would. And if so, is it a car? Is this the new IMP van? Like, what is it?
Yeah, I want to know, like, is it the new IMP van? Because that'd be really funny because they've crashed it. Is it just, like, a mechanical horse? Because he has a lot of the not mechanical horses. He has, like, the ride-on horses in the living room. So I wonder if he, like, took those out again and was like, oh my god, I need a RoboPony. Or is it a spam call and they just know him too well? Another thing, the RoboPony 2000, so when Mammon made the Fizzbots, they're called RoboFizzes.
Yeah.
Is this his new product?
There's no way in hell Blitz is supporting that motherfucker.
Well, no, exactly, but, like, is this his new product? And now there's spam calls on it because it's a new product. And Blitz, like, I don't know, like, they're just calling random people. Like, that, I don't know. That's really far-fetched, but I think it'd be funny, because what if Blitz answered the phone call and was like, fuck no.
Yeah. No, I would believe
Shoot him
it.
out.
Yeah.
They did it because Mammon really hates Blitz specifically because that's when Fizz quit. And so he found out that he likes horses, and now his whole brand is horses.
Mammon has made his entire life's mission to torture Blitz specifically. Not Fizz, not Ozzy, Blitz.
No, yeah. Because he saw through his fake-ass bullshit from day one, so...
It's true. Yeah. Anyway,
Stolas writes like a shitty Wattpad author.
I counted so that you don't have to. You being the populace. I counted. This motherfucker used the word breath or breathes or some variation of it 6 times in this one page of his notebook.
Yeah.
Like one paragraph. And look, I've been a shitty Wattpad author in my time. You've been a shitty Wattpad author in your time. We're no strangers to shitty Wattpad authoring.
Is now you, me, or the populace?
You.
Okay. I think also probably the populace, though.
Oh, well, yes, of course, yeah. But...
I just need to clarify that.
Yeah, totally.
Also, we had a conversation about this. He's not an AO3 writer. He's a Wattpad writer because he's not good enough to be on AO3.
Yeah. No, there's no way. He posts on AO3 once and he gets ratioed.
Yeah. And also, like... So, he writes these by hand, which I feel like is really important. Has he been on Wattpad and or AO3? Is he inspired by it? Has he never seen it? He just does this without any inspiration, like he just writes. And it's like, it's very clearly self-insert OCs, so it's not even like fanfic.
No. It's really deeply pathetic.
Yeah. But he's a great artist.
He's a great artist. And I was saying, back in whatever fucking episode it is, that Moxie's like, why don't you take an art class? And Blitz goes, why don't you see how expensive they are? This would be a really funny and specific reference to that if Stolas has, in fact, had the privilege to take an art class because of how rich he is. And that's why he can draw and Blitz can't.
I would not be surprised if he specifically had, like, an art tutor.
Yeah.
Because, like, piano... drawing and painting, those are pretty high-class things.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, piano is a headcanon that we came up with on this podcast. That's not confirmed by any means, but yeah.
No, I know, but he would. Like, it would make sense. Even, at least as a kid. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Slay.
Do you want to take this next one?
Yeah, Stolas makes up his mind to go see Octavia, and he says, I don't care what they fucking do. And it's like, buddy, your suicidal ideation is showing. Put that shit away.
Yeah, which it shows more in the fight. The way you wrote it, I wanted you to have that if you wanted it.
Yeah,
it's really funny.
I'm gonna control F this document for suicide. It's certainly more than that. Only
there's like suicide, suicidal.
I just typed the first 4 letters and it only came up with 3.
Huh.
Maybe kill. Yeah, there we go. 6 references of kill.
God. Can you tell the shift of when Audie starts doing the notes, by the way?
Yeah.
But anyway, the IMP mission.
Yes.
So Millie pregnancy foreshadowing.
Yes. Last episode, by the way, we talked about the whole Millie being pregnant / Millie and Moxie having kids theory. Shout out Jessica for the insider info once again. We did not think it would be happening this soon.
I thought it would maybe happen this soon, but like a hint, which is kind of what we got.
Yeah, sure.
But no, I did think it was going to get dragged out a little more, and I hope it's a plot. And not just they make a decision and then it's over.
Yeah. I mean, if the decision is to have the kids, then certainly it'll...
Right, but I'm hoping, like, the pregnancy plot line is there, and...
Yeah. I mean, so what I've noticed in my very meticulous, piecing together the timeline for this show that I've kind of made my journey throughout this podcast, what I've noticed is that seasons 1 and 2 both seem to take place over the course of 1 year each. Like, season 1... is from about January to December, and season 2 is about the same, I'm fairly sure. So, with that in mind, Millie's pregnancy would have, if she does carry, the pregnancy to term, would have to be, like, it would be a large portion of season 3, I would think. So. Yeah,
unless there's big time skips, but I don't think there will be at this point.
No, I feel like the whole, 1 year a season thing that they seem to have going right now makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think that either way they did it could be really interesting, especially too I think they have a lot of and I don't have faith in this team to really do things well necessarily, but
we love this podcast.
But they have a lot. Did you say we love this podcast?
Oh shit, we love this show that we do our podcast about.
I was gonna let it fly, but then I was like, that's gonna be confusing.
Yeah.
No, I think they have a lot of opportunity to do miscarriage really well. Because they were literally fist fighting and she fell out of a building this morning. Like that baby being either a miscarriage or disabled in some way from birth defects would make a lot of sense. So it'd be really interesting if they do something like that, because that's kind of like the secret third option that no one's talking about.
Yeah. The secret third option.
But
crazy
not
way
that
to
it's an
say
option.
Miscarriage.
Yeah, no. Okay, but you said...
What?
This is a joke that we had, and I'll tell the listeners, though, when Audie posted something on our Instagram that was like, due to unforeseen circumstances that we can't put our episode out because I got in a car crash on the 27th and we were supposed to have it out by the 30th. And I was like actively like heating pad on, recovering, while Audie sent me that, and I said, unforeseen circumstances is a crazy way to say a car crash.
Yeah. I didn't know if you wanted that out there. I don't know. It's personal life stuff.
No, it's entirely fair and respectful, and honestly, I probably wouldn't have said it, but since that's really funny. It's
due
like
to
really
unforeseen circumstances. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also you said for personal issues in the notes, and I was like, it's too funny not to mention. Not that car crashes are funny, but
yeah,
it is crazy that we didn't get to do our season finale because I got hit by a car.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on. Also,
in a car, to be clear. Not
while in a car, yes.
The way you phrased that made it seem like you were just crossing the road and got hit by a car. What a lame way to...
Yeah, no, I was in a car. I wasn't even in my car. I was borrowing a car. It was horrible. But anyway. Human family.
Human family.
So the human family that they see on the mission. One of the daughters looks like one of the dads, and the other daughter looks like the other dad. So it's a mixed family, meaning like that they both had daughters and came together. At least that's what I assume. Just like Blitz and Stolas' family would be with their daughters, which is a really great detail. And I think that, like, everyone's saying, oh, because it's like two men with two daughters, but I really do think it's that. Like, he noticed, like, this is a mixed family or blended family. Like, that's what I want. Yeah.
I also want to point out what some people on Tumblr have pointed out, that these gay dads look a lot like John and Martin from the Magnus Archives. I would love for that to be intentional, just because it would be fucking hilarious. I doubt it is, but, you know, there's a lot of gay people on behind this show, so who knows. Anyway.
Yeah, and then there's a murder family parallel. that of Moxie being the one to object to killing the family, and then Blitz has come so far since then, like we've seen.
Yeah. Like, in, obviously Murder Family, he's like, oh, no, we're not killing a family, we're killing a mother, we're ruining a family, and he's aiming his gun, he's all into it, whereas now he sees himself in this family, he wants this family, he's less repressed, he's, I could go on.
Which, let's be clear, he saw himself in the Murder Family, the we're killing a mother is charged.
Yeah. Guy who definitely wasn't responsible for his mom's death. Like, hello?
Yeah, literally. No, because everyone for so long, like, when X's and O's came out, we were all like, oh my god, Murder Family, that line. But, like, no one talks about that part of it.
No! Like, we're killing a mother and ruining a family.
And a family.
Jesus fucking Christ.
For the second time. Maybe not even, maybe like the fifth. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, then he not being willing to ruin this family because this is what he wants for himself. And he's able to, like, be like, okay, I want this for myself. And they're just living. Like, I'm going to let them just live.
Yeah.
I think that also helps his morality in the situation because the other people were like crazy, like killers. And these are just gay men in love with daughters.
Yeah, of course.
And also their client is homophobic, so like, but yeah, you're right. It does show growth though. It's not like I'm just gonna kill for a paycheck. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna kill this family out of morality.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be curious to know if there are any changes to IMP as a business following this. Not that I necessarily want there to be, like, I don't know. I think they should just keep killing bitches, but it would be interesting if there was a shift of some kind.
They just start killing, like homophobes and racists and shit.
Yeah, shitty people.
Yeah.
I could see that.
And then the hell population issue is not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, Luna, like, immediately notices that Blitz isn't okay and, like, tries to step in and help, which is sweet. Like, she sees him having a moment and is like, I could take this one, or,
yeah.
Whatever.
And I think a little bit of that is the eagerness, because this is the first hit she's been allowed to go on, except for Spring Broken.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably a little bit of the eagerness as well. But yeah, her she comes up and she's like, I can take this, which is sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
go ahead.
The first time we have seen hearts in Blitz's eyes is in this scene, and it's his, like, imaginary reaction to being gifted a horse present, which is so on brand.
Yeah, I wonder if he has ever been gifted a horse present. Like, he probably has when he was a kid, but maybe not if, they didn't entertain his, like, love of horses because he's a boy. I don't know. But also, he works with horses, so, like, that's a little different.
Yeah.
But I wonder if he's ever been gifted a horse, and even if he was in childhood, if he's ever been gifted a horse in adulthood. And if he hasn't, then he just, like, so badly wants someone to gift him a horse that this is his ideal imaginary circumstances, being with his boyfriend, his daughter, his boyfriend's daughter, and getting a horse.
Yeah.
And I think it's also Via who gives him the horse, too,
Yeah,
right?
I think so, too. It literally, like, the way that she sees him versus the way he sees her. He
literally just wants to be her dad. It's crazy.
He wants a family. It's so cute. Oh my god. Yeah.
And it's not even that he wants to be her dad in a controlling way. Like, he literally just wants to, like, have, like, cereal with her or some shit, Like...
Yeah. Yeah. God. It's so adorable. It's so sad.
It is. I don't even care if we get Stolitz. I want Via and Blitz to have a relationship.
Yeah. Stolitz can fuck off.
Yeah. Via, like, keeps awkwardly running into Blitz and then they become best friends.
Yeah. I'm ready for it. They could do it.
Yeah. And the next thing we have is that we do not agree with the Millie cheated theory. Watch it be real. But we do not agree with it.
No.
This show fucking would. But I'm hoping they don't.
Yeah. I don't think there's
But we
any...
do see...
I don't think there's any real reason to believe that it will happen at this point.
Yeah, but we do see how people got there.
Yes.
Because she wants to kill the guy who cheated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, like, that could be, you know, the like,
the seeing herself in him thing.
And, like, feeling bad about herself the same way that Stolas did earlier.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that it did happen earlier with Stolas, like, being like, they don't deserve to live, that's where people are getting that parallel from. Like, that's where they're getting it.
Yeah.
But it could be a lot of things. First of all, she is hormonal and has mood swings and irritability from being pregnant. That's just, like, a foreshadowing of it.
Yeah.
And then it could also stem from the money insecurity from the business and worried about the business's performance, wanting to prove herself. Like, these are all things that have historically in the show been an issue. And I think the motive or, like, the action of this in the episode is related to the pregnancy plot, but I think it is meant to throw us off, so it is meant to seem like something else.
Yeah. Yeah. This is also, like, the only time we've ever seen Blitz yell at Millie and, like, use his authority as her boss against her. When I was watching this, my heart dropped for a second the first time I watched this, because I thought she was gonna actually go through with it and, like, kill this family, and then, like, Blitz was like, Millie, let's go, but then she kept trying to go. I was like, oh my god, she's gonna do it, but then he got even more angry and, like, assertive. I was like, Millie, let's go. And I was like, oh shit. Bro was not playing.
And it's interesting too, because I feel like he knew that Millie would do it.
Yeah.
Especially after Ghostbuckers.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Like, I think that I'm kind of glad they didn't go that way, because I don't know if I don't know if Blitz would have fucking recovered from that. But it, like, that would have been a really interesting way they could have gone, because this could have just been, like, unrelated to the pregnancy. This could have just been Millie's fucking breaking point of being like, you've taken us to so many fucking things and, like, put us through hell. Like, I am doing this job.
Yeah.
It's in my hands. That would be a crazy way to end season.
It'd be crazy. It would have been really interesting, though.
Yeah. But yeah, the fact that I don't think Blitz has ever been this serious about, like, a hit or, like, anything being, like, not, like, we are not doing this.
Yeah.
So it was...
It's, like, it's similar to, Truth Seekers, when he, like, yells to Luna to close the portal, and then she's like, Blitz didn't use any swears or euphemisms or innuendos, like, he was being serious.
Yeah.
Like, they have, like, a metric for knowing how, you know, he's being completely serious here.
Yeah. He's so serious. He is not fucking around.
Yeah.
And then in this episode, we also have a strong shift in M&M's relationship since Unhappy Campers. It seems like Moxie has learned a lot since then.
Yeah. And it kind of raises the question of, was Unhappy Campers, like, the first time that Millie ever expressed needing that kind of support and reassurance? Because if so, then, you know, we probably still have qualms with it, but Moxie being such a little bitch in that episode, it's a bit more, not justified, but, like, makes a bit more sense if that's literally the first time in their marriage that he's had to step up like that.
Yeah. It's justified in the sense of a writing standpoint.
Yeah. And then if that is true, it also, like, you know, the way he acts in this episode is very much like, good job, Mox. You learned. You lived and you learned. You're doing a lot better now at being a husband.
Yeah. I still don't love the development of it. I think if you're going to do something that extreme, and then you can't just have the after.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I still have a lot of qualms with the way they do it in Eminem and Millie generally. And I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see this. The only thing I worry is that this was just so that when he acts nice later about the pregnancy and about, like, when he does later in this episode, but also, like, when the pregnancy happens and they have to have that talk, if he acts nice then, like, I worry that this is solely there as a tactic for that, you know? Like, he's gonna be this model husband now because they need him to be good, as opposed to him actually having character development.
I see what you mean.
Whereas in Unhappy Campers, he was shitty because he had to be shitty so that Millie could have development.
Yeah.
And that's, again, it's like Moxie's character. we're kind of losing it.
Yep.
And this episode did feel a little bit more like Moxie, but not for this season.
Can you say that again? Sorry.
This episode felt a little bit more like Moxie, but not necessarily like this season. It felt more like season 1 Moxie. Yeah. So it's all over the place. But we are at 2 hours and 4 minutes. We need to get through this.
Yeah. So we are we're on page 5, like bottom of page 5 of our notes. Our podcast notes technically nope, they go to the bottom of page 8. But there are some pictures in there.
Yeah, if we speed run, let's try.
Let's try? Because this would be a good place to stop if we were going to stop.
Yeah.
I feel like if we don't stop now, then we are committed to doing the rest of this, is the only thing.
This is true. I know you were strong that you didn't want to do a part 2, but this ice fight I feel like is going to go crazy.
Yeah, I want to be able to do it justice. I guess we should probably stop, would be the smart thing to do.
Well, that just means that these lovely people get more content from us, and they love getting content from us, and then we can justify going on a hiatus longer.
It's true. Okay, so
yes, we're gonna end here.
Yeah, I don't know when we'll be back for part 2 because
we're both starting. Well, you're starting 1 internship. I'm starting 2 internships.
Mm-hmm. Are you free? Are you not to plan on the podcast? Are you?
No,
free
let's
tomorrow?
not plan on the. Okay. Let's not plan on the pod. But yeah, this is the end. Let's go down to the closing though, just to make sure there's not anything.
Most of this we'll cover in our actual.
Yeah, that will be our next one. But yeah, as always, follow the Instagram. We're going to be posting updates. We'll be posting when we post our part 2 on there. But then also, we're going to be posting after the part 2 of this comes out, when we're going to be posting bonus content, how we're doing that. We're thinking of utilizing our Ko-fi or something of the sort more. Because some of you said that you would use it if we did. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of changes and a lot of stuff with the new year and a new season. So just follow the Instagram. You'll be in the loop. Yeah. Anything else?
I mean, you already know what I'm going to say. Stay sexy.